The Arizona sun was a merciless beast that afternoon, its rays lashing down like whips of fire. The thermometer on the dashboard of Jake Morrison's truck read 104 degrees Fahrenheit, but it felt like the gates of hell had been left ajar. Sweat trickled down his temples as he pulled into the driveway of their modest townhouse, his pregnant wife, Lila, groaning beside him. 9 months. 9 long months of swollen ankles, midnight CRAVY-NGS, and backaches that made her wince with every step. The doctor's words from that morning echoed in Jake's mind. Any day now. She's ready. Lila clutched her belly, her breath shallow. Jake, something's wrong, she whispered. He helped her out of the truck, his hands steady despite the adrenaline coursing through him. But when he slid the key into the front door, it didn't turn. Jake frowned. What the hell? Then he saw it. A neon green sticker slapped across the doorframe, the words glaring in bold black. Access denied. Code violation the A117. Non-compliant shutter color. His stomach dropped. Lila let out a sharp cry, doubling over. A dark stain spread across her sundress. Her water had broken. Jake's hands shook as he dialed the HOA's emergency line. 3 rings. Then a voice, crisp and detached. You've reached the office of Diane Whitmore, HOA board president. How may I assist you? Ma'am, my wife is in labor, Jake snapped. We're locked out of our own house over some paint violation. Diane cut him off. Mr. Morrison, you were issued a notice 2 weeks ago regarding your shutters. Per HOA bylaws, non-compliance results in temporary property restriction. Jake's VY sound blurred with rage. My wife is about to have a baby on your goddamn sidewalk. That, Diane said coolly, is not our problem. The line went dead. Lila screamed. The next 20 minutes were a blur of panic and desperation. Neighbors peeked through blinds, but only 2 stepped forward. Frank Delgado, a retired firefighter, and Maria Ruiz, a nurse who lived 3 doors down. Frank brought towels. Maria guided Lila through contractions, and Jake jaw clenched, hands trembling prepared to deliver his own child on the synthetic turf the HOA had installed to maintain aesthetic cohesion. Then Diane arrived. Not in a rush. Not with concern. In a white linen dress and oversized sunglasses, sipping an iced matcha latte. She surveyed the scene, Lila writhing in pain, Jake covered in sweat, neighbors scrambling to help and sighed. This is a violation of community landscaping use, she said, as if commenting on an improperly parked car. Jake saw red. Are you kidding me? Diane didn't flinch. Rules exist for a reason, Mr. Morrison. Then, with Lila's final scream tearing through the air, their son was born right there, on the curb, beneath the unrelenting sun. The ambulance arrived minutes too late. Jake remembered the Ring camera on old Mr. Hendrick's porch. The footage was worse than he imagined. There was Diane, standing just feet away, sipping her drink while Lila sobbed. There was her voice, caught clear as day. If they can't follow the rules, they shouldn't be surprised when consequences hit them where it hurts. Jake uploaded the clip. No edits. No commentary. Just raw, unfiltered cruelty. By morning, it had 5 million VYUs. The internet erupted. Memes. Hashtags. News segments. Diane's face, once the picture of suburban authority, became the symbol of HOA tyranny. Protesters gathered outside the HOA office, chanting, "No more Diane." Then came the whistleblower. A former board member revealed Diane had targeted the Morrisons. Emails proved it. Let's see how smug they are when they can't even enter their own home. The DA filed charges. Reckless endangerment. Obstruction of emergency care. Chivuipsilon rights vuipsilon olations. Diane was arrested mid-golf swing at her country club. The courtroom was packed. Diane's lawyer called it a misunderstanding. The jury took 5 hours to convict her on all counts. As the judge read the verdict guilty, Diane's mask finally cracked. Lila held their son, now named Ethan Justice Morrison, and let out a slow breath. They moved. No HOA. No rules. Just freedom. And Diane? She learned the hard way. Cruelty, when exposed, always crashes down harder than the rules she once enforced. Months later, Jake stood in their new backyard, wildflowers growing unchecked, a bright blue shed, no permits needed, and the sound of Ethan's laughter filling the air. No more citations. No more Diane. Just life. Unregulated. Unbroken. The media circus didn't end with Diane Whitmore's Con VY tie-in. If anything, it grew louder. News vans camped outside the Morrisons' new home for weeks, desperate for interviews. Jake and Lila refused most, but one reportera, relentless investigative journalist, named Naomi Carter, caught Jake's attention. "This isn't just about Diane," Naomi said, her voice low and urgent. "HOAs like this exist everywhere, and they're getting away with worse." Jake hesitated. Then he agreed to talk. Naomi's article went viral. Overnight, Jake's inbox flooded with messages from strangers across the country, families who've been fined into poverty, veterans denied wheelchair ramps, single mothers TED over grass that was half an inch too tall. One email stood out. "My son died because the HOA blocked our ambulance access. They said our driveway was non-compliant." Jake's hand shook as he read it. Lila looked over his shoulder, her face pale. "We have to do something." They started small. A Facebook group, a petition, then a rally in Phoenix, thousands of people holding signs, chanting, "HOA reform now." Jake stood on stage, Ethan in his arms, and told their story. The crowd roared. Politicians took notice. State Senator Rebecca Alvarez, a fierce advocate for housing rights, reached out. "Let's change the law," she said. The Homeowners Freedom Act was born. No more lockouts. No more fines for aesthetic violations. No more unchecked power. The HOA lobby fought back hard. Diane, now out on appeal, gave interviews from her gated community, calling Jake a liar and the bill government overreach. But the public wasn't buying it. The day of the legislative hearing, the room was packed. Jake testified first. Then Lila, her voice breaking as she described GIVYing birth on concrete. Then, a surprise witness, Frank Delgado. The retired firefighter stood tall, his voice gravelly with emotion. "I've seen people die because of rules like these. Enough is enough." The committee voted unanimously. The bill passed. Diane wasn't done. She filed a lawsuit claiming defamation, but her own emails sank her. The judge dismissed the case. Then came the final blow. Her own neighbors, once loyal, voted her out of the HOA board in a landslide. A year later, Jake stood outside their old neighborhood. The perfect beige houses were now dotted with bright colors, purple shutters, red doors, a rainbow of rebellion. No more Diane. No more fear. He smiled and drove home. Ethan's first birthday was a celebration not just for him, but for the thousands of families who'd fought back. Naomi's documentary, The Color of Cruelty, premiered that night. As the credits rolled, Jake whispered to Lila, "We did it." And for the first time in years, they both believed it. The documentary's release sent shockwaves through suburban America. HOAs in 12 states launched emergency policy reviews as terrified board members scrambled to avoid becoming the next Diane Whitmore. Jake found himself invited to Washington, standing beside Senator Alvarez as she introduced federal legislation, the Homeowner Bill of Rights Act. The bill would strip HOAs of their most draconian powers nationwide. That's when the death threats started. The first envelope arrived on a Tuesday. Inside, a single photo of Ethan in his crib with the words, "Know Your Place," scrawled in red. Naomi's investigation uncovered a shadow network, the National Community Standards Coalition, a multi-million-dollar HOA lobbying group bankrolled by real estate developers. Their files contained disturbing dossiers on problem homeowners across the country, with Jake's name highlighted in yellow. Lila woke to shattered glass at 3 a.m. Someone had thrown a brick through their living room window, wrapped in a copy of their mortgage documents. Jake's military training kicked in. Motion sensors, reinforced doors, a security system that alerted the local sheriff directly. But the psychological warfare continued. Fake code violations, Mysterious IRS audits. A sudden hike in their property taxes. That's when they found the Safe House Network, a secret coalition of HOA VY Tims across 7 states, operating through encrypted channels. They called themselves the Unfenced. Their leader? None other than Frank Delgado's niece, a former NSA analyst named Sophia who'd been tracking HOA abuses for years. The NCSC made their move during Jake's testimony before Congress. A concerned citizen released doctored audio of Jake supposedly admitting the whole story was fabricated for profit. Fox News ran it on loop. For 72 agonizing hours, Jake watched their support evaporate. Then Sophia delivered the counterpunch, raw footage of the NCSC board discussing exactly this contingency plan. The final showdown played out not in court, but on live television. A CNN special brought Jake face-to-face with NCSC Chairman Richard Vaughn, who never saw the ambush coming. Sophia's hackers had obtained everything. Emails detailing systematic harassment, slush funds, even instructions to make examples of certain families. Vaughn's mic picked up his whispered curse as the screen split to show federal agents entering NCSC headquarters. The aftermath was seismic. 37 HOA board members across 6 states resigned. The NCSC dissolved amid multiple RICO investigations. Diane Whitmore's appeal was denied. At Ethan's second birthday party, Jake received 2 unexpected gifts. A pardon from the governor for his unauthorized security measures. A letter from the White House requesting his consultation on national housing reform. 5 years later, the Morrison-Harris Act has transformed American neighborhoods. Jake and Lila now run a nonprofit from their solar-paneled home, painted sunflower yellow, no permits required. Ethan starts kindergarten next month at a school where his middle name, Justice, draws smiles instead of questions. And Diane? Her memoir, Following the Rules, sold 127 copies before being pulped. The last sighting placed her working at a garden center in Idaho, where employees say she flinches at the sound of power drills. Ethan Justice Morrison gripped his father's hand tighter as they approached the school gates. The brick building buzzed with laughter and the shrieks of children chasing each other across a playground that, unlike their old neighborhood, featured brightly colored murals and slightly crooked hopscotch lines drawn by enthusiastic little hands. Remember, Jake knelt down, adjusting Ethan's backpack. If anyone asks about your name, it's because Daddy fought for what's right. Ethan finished grinning. His missing front tooth made the expression even more endearing. Lila snapped a photo as their son ran toward his teacher. His shoes, one blue, one green, because matching is boring, kicking up with chips. A woman approached, her red hair catching the autumn sunlight. Senator Alvarez said I'd find you here. She extended a hand. Dr. Rachel Nguyen, Department of Housing and Urban Development. We have a problem you need to see. The government limo took them 40 miles outside Phoenix to a sprawling development called Harmony Hills. Built in 2018 as a model sustainable community, Dr. Nguyen explained as they passed solar-paneled homes. Instead, they implemented something worse. Jake's stomach turned as he saw the signs. Community Compliance Points Program. Earn credits for proper waste sorting. Deductibles apply for non-participation. Cameras perched on every streetlight. A digital billboard displayed real-time neighborhood scores. They gamified oppression, Lila whispered. Mason Carter answered the door with a baby on his hip and a black eye. Try to plant tomatoes in my front yard, he spat. Got 10,000 compliance points deducted. Lost access to the community laundry facility. He lifted the infant. Tell me how I'm supposed to wash her cloth diapers now. Jake noticed the RFID bracelet on Mason's wrist. They track you. Try Leah VY-ing without scanning out. The gates won't open. That night, Jake uploaded footage of Harmony Hills to the Unfenced network. Within hours, it trended under the digital HOAs. Sophia's facial recognition software identified the mastermind. Dr. Evelyn Roth, a BHA VY oral psychologist who consulted for Amazon and Facebook before designing Harmony Hills system. Her TED Talk, nudging communities toward perfect harmony, had 2 million VYUs. Jake watched it, sickened. People don't need coercion. Roth smiled on screen. Just gentle, algorithmic guidance. They hit Harmony Hills at dawn. Journalists, lawyers, a busload of active VYSTS singing protest songs. The cameras captured it all. Elderly residents cheering as Jake spray-painted over a surveillance camera. Teenagers smashing their RFID bracelets with rocks. Dr. Roth screaming about vandalism as her digital billboard short-circuited. But the most powerful image? Ethan, now 7, planting sunflower seeds in Mason's front yard as armed security guards hesitated to stop a child. The class action lawsuit lasted 18 months. Roth claimed she'd been misunderstood. The developers blamed overzealous implementation. Then Sophia leaked the internal memos. Phase 3. Implement in 200 zone communities by 2025. Congress subpoenaed Roth. Her final humiliation came when Ethan sent her a drawing in Corda's stick figure child behind bars, labeled the compliance zone. The Ethan J. Morrison Act bans BHA VY oral tracking in residential areas. Lila runs a design firm specializing in rebellious landscapes, yards that defy conformity. And Jake, he teaches community organizing at Arizona State, where his most popular course is called How to Fight Back. As for Harmony Hills, the residents kept the solar panels, ditched the cameras, and painted every house a different color of the rainbow. Ethan Morrison's college application essay went VY-RAL. My first home was a sidewalk. My second was a revolution. At Stanford, he founded the Campus Liberty Project, using facial recognition tech to track tracking systems. The irony wasn't lost on anyone. Morrison, my office. Professor Whitford's bark reminded Ethan of those HOA busybodies his parents described. The aging economics professor slid a file across his desk. Know what this is? Ethan's breath caught. Harmony Hills 2.0 Blockchain Community Governance. The schematics showed a terrifying evolution. Smart contracts automatically deducting non-compliance fees from digital wallets. AI drones scanning for unauthorized lawn decorations. Social credit scores determining voting power in community decisions. They're calling it decentralized VYing, Whitford spat. Launching in Dubai next month. Ethan recognized the logo in the footer. A phoenix rising that with Diane Whitmore's signature color scheme. Sophia's hack revealed the truth. Diane had spent her prison years networking. Now she led a consortium of disgraced HOA tyrants, Silicon Valley tech bros, and overseas developers. Their manifesto was chilling. Chaos comes from choice. Perfect harmony requires perfect control. Lila nearly dropped her coffee when Ethan VY Deo called. Mon TVI proponizet cryptokerenji. The operation required 3 teams. Jake Frank infiltrated the Dubai test site as interested investors. Sophia von Naomi prepared a digital deadman switch. Ethan Lila coordinated the media blitz. The moment Diane appeared on screen at the launch event, her hair, now platinum blonde, her smile razor-sharp, Ethan's team sprang the trap. What happened next will be studied in business and active SM classes for decades. Jake triggered emergency sprinklers, frying the prototype drones. Sophia's malware replaced the promotional Deo with Diane's prison footage. 10,000 unfenced members flooded the blockchain with absurd transactions. 1 red. Find Diane 1M for ugly hair. The coup de grâce? Ethan live-streamed the chaos while narrating in perfect Arabic. This isn't innovation. This is digital feudalism. Diane's scream of rage became an instant meme. Her investors fled. Dubai officials voided the contracts. As security dragged her away, she locked eyes with Jake across the crowd. For the first time, he saw fear in hers. The Global Digital Housing Rights Accord now bears Ethan's signature as U.S. Secretary of Urban Development. Lila's rebellious landscapes grace 14 countries. Jake still teaches, though he's added How to Topple Dictators, Homeowner Edition, to his course list. And Diane? Her last verified sighting showed her managing a parking garage in Liechtenstein, where the automated system fines her for non-compliance daily. As for the Phoenix Group's technology, it now powers the unfenced global alert network. Because sometimes the best revenge is repurposing their weapons for good. President Elena Mendez knelt in the soil beside 6-year-old Maya Morrison, carefully guiding her small hands as they planted the first sunflower of what would become the Presidential Wildflower Initiative. "Your daddy told me about the first sunflower he ever planted," the president whispered conspiratorially. Maya's eyes widened. "The one that made the bad lady mad?" Across the lawn, Ethan, now the youngest Secretary of Housing and Urban Development in history, watched with a lump in his throat. The same hands that had once caught him as he entered the world now dug into earth that would grow untamed and unregulated. The alert came at 3:17 a.m. Sophia's voice crackled through the encrypted line. "They've backdoored the accord." Ethan scrambled to his home office, where holographic displays showed the Brayacha worm chewing through the global digital housing rights firewall. The signature was unmistakable. A phoenix with Diane Whitmore's DNA-based encryption key. But she's dead. Sophia's face appeared grim. Her legacy isn't. Diane's posthumous message unfolded like a nightmare. "You thought you won? I trained hundreds. My students are in every smart city, every ethical tech firm. The fight for control never ends." The VY-DAO dissolved into a list of names: executives, politicians, even some unfenced members. At the bottom, a countdown. 00:15:00:00 until reset. Maya's first grade class became ground zero. While other children built toothpick bridges, Maya and her friends designed freedom gardens, tiny plots with chaotic, beautiful growth patterns that broke every algorithm's ability to categorize them. Her teacher, Mr. Calloway, former unfenced member of the 4,392, proudly displayed them under a sign. A new generation of troublemakers. The Morrison family strategy session looked like a war room crossed with a kindergarten art class. "Jake, we hit them where it hurts their data centers." "Lila, I've got landscape architects ready to redesign their perfect communities." "Ethan, Sophia's team can flood their systems." Maya, holding up crayon drawing. "And we plant flowers in their servers." The adults exchanged glances. "That's actually not the worst idea," Sophia admitted. The attack was beautiful in its simplicity. Physical. Jake led teams planting wildflowers in the manicured lawns of every Phoenix Group affiliate. Digital. Ethan's department released thousands of Garden VY Ruses code that replaced compliance alerts with meadow imagery. Cultural. Maya's class project became a global movement to plant like a pirate. The final blow came when the AI governing Diane's prized Dubai development spontaneously redesigned itself. And petitioned to become a nature preserve. The Maya Morrison Wildflower Act requires all government buildings to maintain at least 30 fan-tram unregulated green space. Ethan serves as the first chancellor of the new University of Urban Ecology, where disobedient landscaping is a required course. Lila's memoirs, How to Start a Revolution with Just One Seed, outsold Diane's by a factor of 10,000. As for Diane's digital ghost, it still haunts the dark web, where it's become the butt of every hacker joke. "Knock, knock. Who's there?" Diane's algorithm. "Let me in so I can... Oh, look, flowers." On the 25th anniversary of the sidewalk birth that started all, Maya Morrison, now a lanky 16-year-old with her grandfather's stubborn chin, buried a titanium box beneath the newly installed Ethan J. Morrison Memorial Wildflower Garden at the National Mall. Inside, the original Ring camera footage. Diane Whitmore's first VY Olation notice. A handful of sunflower seeds from that first rebellious planting. Maya's handwritten note, for when they try this again. As she patted down the soil, a shadow fell across her. The new HUD secretary, a former unfenced kid himself, extended an envelope. "You should see this." The documents revealed a chilling trend. HOA like community is sub VY science with voluntary compliance standards and community benefit assessments that just happened to penalize non-participants. Worse, they were being marketed as the new freedom neighborhoods. Maya's fingers left dirt smudges on the papers. They rebranded fascism as farmers markets. The Morrison family's AI assistant, Bud, programmed by Sophia before her retirement, had been quietly tracking something. Pattern alert, it chimed one morning, projecting heat maps across the kitchen. 97.4% correlation between voluntary landscaping rules and Maya finished the sentence, that voter suppression zones. The maps overlapped perfectly. Their plan was absurdly simple. Maya would organize guerrilla gardening clubs at every high school in targeted districts. Ethan would push legislation classifying native plants as protected free speech. Bud would hack smart irrigation systems to water rebellion instead of lawns. But their secret weapon? The contents of that time capsule. Maya's TikTok, "Who's Afraid of Little Old Dandelions?" showed her planting weeds in a voluntary compliance neighborhood, being politely threatened by a khaki-clad community liaison, smiling sweetly as she recited the exact wording of the Morrison-Harris Act. The video ended with a zoom-in on the liaison's name tag. Whitmore Communities, LLC. The internet exploded. Caroline Whitmore Diane's estranged granddaughter showed up at Maya's door with a USB drive and a black eye. "I've been trying to burn it down from the inside," she whispered. The files contained the ultimate weapon. Diane's contingency plan Omega, a blueprint for repackaging control as wellness communities for climate anxiety. The showdown happened atop All Placiza National Homeowners Convention. Maya took the stage, Yunin vy Ted. Caroline's files projected behind her. "You can't sell us cages and call them gardens anymore," she declared as security rushed forward. Then Bud triggered every sprinkler system in the convention center. As the crowd gasped, thousands of unfenced members rose from their seats, each holding a single sunflower seed. The Maya-Caroline Accords are taught in schools as the moment America chose. Wild growth over controlled perfection. The old HUD building now houses the National Museum of Grassroots Resistance, where Diane's original violation notices hang beside Maya's TikTok quotes. And that time capsule? It remains buried, but just in case. If you were the one in this story, how would you react? Would you stand up and fight back, or accept the unreasonable pressure and control from the HOA? Share your thoughts in the comments below. And don't forget to subscribe, like, and share this video with more people. Your small action gives us the motivation to keep bringing you more intense and engaging stories. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.